podcast. What is up, Thunder Montoya Nation? It is I, your host, Thunder Montoya, and
Machine L. Khan.
yeah, if you guys remember back from the old days, he was doing reviews with me with like food or whatever we did.
Back in the car, baby.
Hell yeah, we're back in the car and we're doing a podcast. This video is gonna be as long as it wants to be. So we got some topics over here that we're gonna talk about. So there's gonna be the first ever video podcast brought to you by Aviators. Let's fucking go. All right, so this is completely
And
unfiltered.
this little tree's black ice.
Yeah, black ice.
So where you go. It's like cologne, but in tree form.
All right, so what we're going to talk about on this podcast first, let's see. So what is brought?
Yes, we have a script.
Oh yeah, this is the script we're going off of right here. This is serious stuff, right? So let's see. It says, what has brought people from the past? Oh yeah, so basically, what I was talking with him or whatever, wouldn't it be cool? Like, what would happen if you brought somebody from the past to the future? Yeah, or the future to the past, and like what type of conversation, what type of conversations would they have? Like, I'm just saying, like, just off my head or whatever, like if you were to bring a past police officer and bring them to the future, what type of stuff would they talk about? Like basically like 1800s police, and what would they be talking about today? What would you think that they'd be talking about?
I basically think they would be talking about how they, first of all, they'd be like in awe of how far technology's come since then. Number one. Number two, maybe they might not agree with some of the way law enforcement handles things now because of now, due to society, they have to ease up on the,
Procedures?
Yeah, basically police brutality accusations made everything, a more fruitcake type of environment.
Yeah, I agree with that because now, is instead of body cams that are on other people, I mean just like normal phones or whatever, or VHSs. It basically started back in like the 1990s with that Rodney King, I think. Because if that video was never surfaced or whatever, stuff in law enforcement would be completely different as of today.
Yeah, I totally agree. Due to that case, law enforcement definitely has to hold back now, and they really have to watch what they do so they don't get charged with police brutality or any of those assault accusations or charges. Yeah,
because back in that day, there was exactly, what was it, 46 nightsticks hits, and back in the procedure days or whatever, 36 of those were okay by the law.
And another thing you don't hear all the time is what these suspects do to get these beatings. Like, I'm not condoning violence in any way, but I mean, sometimes it's needed. You need to enforce the law on people that don't know how to respect it and don't know how to go along their daily lives being decent human beings and knowing how to follow rules and know how to treat people. So when they don't know how to do that and they decide to act up and commit crimes, somebody has to put them in their place. And if there's not people there that won't be, that can't put them in their place because they can get in trouble, it's just going to make a very corrupt society because people are going to think they could get away with it whatever they want.
Yeah, because I mean, like, in today's day and age or whatever, it's kind of a completely different process than what like stuff was back in like the day. Because like, whatchamacallit, like if you were to let's say tase somebody or whatever, and back in those days or whatever, like where it was just like no paperwork was added or whatever, but like if an officer were to tase somebody as of today or whatever, it'd be an entire like thing of paperwork that they would have to fill out for use of force. So I mean, like, just society has just gotten too nice and like all this other stuff. But like if like they were to go back in time to like the 80s, like they would freak out or whatever, because I mean we have to rely on our cell phones constantly as of in today's day and age or whatever. Because like if you have like look at like in the social media aspect, people were freaking out when Facebook and Instagram were taken down 20 years ago. No one would have cared. And guess what? In 100 years, we're all going to be dead. So, I mean, like, does it even matter at the point? Like, yeah, we could focus on something cool right now, like this podcast right now, that we could talk about right now. This is going to just care about for just now or whatever. But then in, like, 80 years, let's see, I'm 20 years old. He's 20 as well. In 80 years, we're going to be 100, and we may or may not be still alive. So, I mean, does stuff that we do really matter at the moment? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. It matters like for our lives personally, but in a long run, not necessarily.
Yeah, just like if you're saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna hold off on that piece of cheesecake, or oh yeah, I should have talked to that one girl. I was like, why not? You got one life, you live it. That what I'm always saying at the end of the videos. I say, you got your one life, you live it. You live by your own prerogatives. You know that means something, because guess what? You got one life, you got to live it. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, you can't just feel like you're stuck in a certain situation and feel like there's nothing that you can't change about that. You have all the power to change what you want, because it is your life. You can go from working one job 1 second to doing a completely different job the next week. Like, it just doesn't matter. If, let's say, you want to get into working out, which is what we're going to discuss later in this video. But let's say you've never worked out a day in your life. Well, who's to say that can't change the next day? Or say you play video games too much. Who's to say you can't take up doing puzzles instead? Like, you have control over anything and everything you do in your life. It's just how you approach the situation and the steps you take to achieve these life changes, if you so do wish.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree 100% on that. And then, like, in today's like standards or whatever, back in the day when a boss told you to do something, it actually meant something. Or like if a coach were to tell you something, it would actually mean something. But in today's
shit.
It doesn't mean absolute shit anymore. Like management or something. Oh yeah, you're gonna tell me to do this or whatever. Oh yeah, I could easily quit or whatever, and then you're out of a job. You know, it's like they're just like, stuff has changed so much or whatever, and it's like that, like we've challenged authority so much that it comes back and it makes you really think like how management isn't like the best how it is.
It's fucking every place that I've worked for has some sort of management corruption, whether it being the management is just unknowledgeable on the content that they're trying to show people or teach people how to do for the job itself. They're lazy. Managers these days are lazy. They don't want to take the time and the energy to properly train somebody or to give proper guidelines. They don't want to give, what's the word I'm looking for? Orders. Proper orders. Yeah, sorry about that. That was a little mind fart. But yeah, they don't know how to give proper orders, and that can really affect not only the job, but the way the job is getting done. And a lot of these companies are wondering why they're not doing well. And a lot of these companies are wondering why aren't my employees working hard? Well, how your employees work is a reflection on the training and the management. So always keep that in the back of your mind if you're higher up in that supervision role.
Yeah, because guess what? If you want to be a manager just to sit around on your ass, I mean, that's kind of, that's okay for like the temporary part. But I mean, like, what would happen if you're like 50 years old and you're just still sitting on your ass and you're still at your parents' home if they're even still alive? Because in your life or whatever, you never went out to go meet that special someone and have kids and like move out and all that other stuff. Because it seems like in today's day and age, it seems like that we only care about like the now, and like we don't care about the repercussions that it's going to have later in life. Because we, like, as our generation, as of like, I guess, millennials and up at the moment or whatever, they don't think that they're going to get old. They don't have the mindset be like, oh yeah, what I'm going to do now, is that gonna depend on what I'm going to do when I'm 40 years old? Yeah, it is. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You just don't think of it in the long run. You think of just, short term.
Because like of all those people that get face tattoos or whatever, I'm not hating on 6ix9ine or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, with all those like face tattoos or whatever, you're gonna get old at certain points, and you're gonna look in the back of your head and you're gonna be like, what was I even thinking when I was 20 years old? Because the human, fun fact, by the way, which he loves these
I hear all about these every day.
Yeah, the fun fact, because your brain, female or male, it doesn't matter, there's only 2 of them, by the way. There's when you're 25, that's when your brain fully develops. Whether you're male or you're female, for a normal, like, without disabilities or any of that or whatever. I'm talking about like, yeah, ADD or whatever, but I'm talking about like if somebody has like mental disorders or whatever, but like just normal humans that you think that are normal or whatever, the normal brain development stops at 25. So with all these young people or whatever thinking of their stuff or whatever that won't benefit them when they're 60 years old and all that and so forth, their brains aren't fully developed all the way. So like later in years, they're definitely going to regret it.
Exactly.
Because I mean, like, if I were to get a face tattoo right now, right in my face or whatever, that's not gonna give me any future jobs. That's not gonna give me any future with like any girls or whatever. Because like some girls, yeah, they might think that face tattoos are cool, but in the long run, I don't think so. You know?
In a long run, it's just gonna screw you over. If anything, you're gonna be a target. If you are walking down the street, people are gonna judge you. If you're in a car by yourself and there's a law enforcement member driving by, they're more than likely going to stop you. It's not necessarily right that they won't get to know you as a person. However, the image that you give on the outside kind of, gives people a prejudgment of the type of human being that you will be. Unfortunately, that's how society has developed into, and that is the way things are nowadays. It's completely wrong. But you just got to think of these things before you make these rash decisions.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, you want to pull up the stuff?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so we're going to get up to our next subject here.
Okay.
And
when you quit a place, do you ever find yourself going back to it? Like, because I know for a fact when I used to work at Taco Bell, I couldn't go back. I wouldn't go back for like the longest time. It took me 2 years before I actually ate at that place again.
yeah, same here. Like, because what I was saying, what I say, I'm going to say this word for word. When you quit a place, do you stay away from it? What I basically mean by that or whatever is like when you quit a place or whatever and you think like it's bad terms, do you guys stay away from it like it's a cancer? Because like I know I sure do. Because I mean, like my first job was at McDonald's. I first got the job on October 16th 2014. The reason why I know that is because that's the same day I got my Chevy Cruze. My 2011 Chevy Cruze was on that day, because I got a job and a car on that exact same day. Plus the 16 is my favorite number, because I mean, you can check on there's a 16 right there. So it's my favorite number. It's the year I graduated, and it's just my favorite number altogether. But like, I stayed away from that McDonald's for literally 3 years. Yeah, I mean, like, that's crazy. And then my next job was Jump Street. As soon as I got done with that, I've never been back, and I don't plan to be. And then I worked at a Papa John's. I've yet to eat from Papa John's since
Don't blame
then.
you. Place is horrible.
And then where else have I worked? Oh yeah, Target. I recently worked at Target. And then
Unload crew, baby.
Yeah, unload crew. And
don't do it. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
don't do it.
Because it's horrible pay.
Unload sucks.
And yeah,
you work like a slave. You work like a slave. You get paid shitty, and you barely get any hours. Don't do it.
Yeah, plus not to mention the management there or whatever. They just want to sit on their ass, and instead of actually
goes back into what we were talking about earlier.
Because I mean, if you're going to be a manager, you at some point or another, you're going to have to get there knuckle deep. I'm not talking sexual here. I'm talking about you have to get in there and like go
penetrate
in the work
the shit.
Yeah, you got to physically penetrate it in the workforce. Because I mean, like, how are you going to be a manager and train all these people when you're just going to be sitting on your ass? That's like,
you gotta lead by example. You can't fucking micromanage. That's what a lot of these managers do. They micromanage. Like they're watching a fucking potato warm up in the goddamn microwave. Like they don't know how to actually take charge. They don't know how to lead by example. They just give orders and fucking sit on their ass and observe like they're in the fucking movies watching the new Avengers.
Yeah, no spoilers here, but I love you 3000. And whatchamacallit, yeah, I just can't freaking believe how, like, well, just going back on that or whatever, like, yeah, like, if you quit a job or whatever, do you seriously go back to that place and, like, just, like, you could feel, like, 100%? Because, I mean, like, there's some secret stuff that goes in every single job, whether it be picking up trash on the sidewalk or even at McDonald's. There's some secret stuff in there that the general public does not know about, but you know about.
It's not real chicken.
Yeah.
It's fucking slime.
I mean, like, yeah, just like stuff like that. And then, like, let's see, fast food.
And Taco Bell, yeah, that ain't real beef. That's fucking horse.
Yeah, and then let's see, fast food. Okay, we're gonna go to our next topic here. You cool with that?
I'm down.
Okay, so basically I said right here, this is topic number 3. It says fast food changes through the years. And the reason why I say that or whatever is like 10 years ago, if you were to say that, oh yeah, if you're going to say this to a normal, like, I'm just saying like this, 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago, possibly even 5 years ago. Yeah, a decade or half a decade. If you were to go and ask a bunch of people or whatever, be like, hey, you want to go get some Taco Bell or McDonald's or whatever? Yeah. They would be basically, they'd be like, oh my God, you're such a lowlife for even eating that food or whatever. Like, why would you even eat that disgusting fast food or whatever? And then fast forward 5 years later, look at the commercials at Taco Bell, how fancy they are. And now everybody's doing on mukbangs on them on Taco Bell and McDonald's and Burger King, because back in the day when I was going to school, it wasn't like, yeah, there were some people that went there or whatever, including me, that went and ate that food or whatever, and said it was
a little bit too much than others, because at one point, yes, I was fat.
Yeah, same here. I was even more fatter than I am as I speak to you. But like how it changed through the years. Like right now or whatever, if you ask anybody right now, be like, oh yeah, you want to go to McDonald's or Taco Bell? They'd be like, oh yeah, that place is so dope. 5 years ago, they were saying, oh yeah, that's low life, because that's pop culture for you. Look at the commercials 5 years ago for Taco Bell or whatever. It was like, what was it? Like a street videos for tacos or whatever. But now or whatever, they're all on nice fancy plates or whatever on these commercials or whatever. What has changed?
A lot.
It's crazy. It's like
the people that eat it.
Yeah, it's like 5 years ago, the people that when I was talking about eating at Taco Bell, they were calling me a lowlife for eating at Taco Bell and McDonald's. But then now, turn around 5 years later, now you guys are going to be eating that same food or whatever that you told me that I was a lowlife for eating. It's fucking scum.
He's not calling you guys out directly. He's just saying a general statement.
Yeah, I'm just saying whoever.
Like, if you guys had a misconception on that.
Yeah.
He loves all his followers.
Yeah, 100%. Because I mean, because without a following, you're nothing. But exactly. I'm just saying that, like,
you're the backbone.
You're the backbone. But I mean, like, if you think about it, like, if you yourself, and you could actually take this to heart, that if 5 years ago you were eating Taco Bell and somebody was calling you a lowlife for eating that type of food or whatever because it was fast food, and then 5 years later someone is still that was calling you a low life eats that food and enjoys it or whatever for calling you a low life for eating that food, it just, I don't know, society has changed like so much.
It really has. It's totally different.
That's the thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I got it. Oh yeah, well, it's pulled up now. Alright, so perfect. Alright, you done on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next subject says, do you think this generation's kids, young adults, as they get old and like having big... Oh yeah, what basically my next subject or whatever, like, do you think that like the modern day generation just has kids just because of like Instagram?
Oh yeah, they're like, oh yeah. They're just like, oh look, so and so is having a baby. Let's have a kid. It's gonna be nice. And then when that little demon comes, it changes everything. Not to say that life is bad or anything, or all kids are demons, but as little babies they can be a handful, and some might compare them to something that might come from the depths of hell.
Yeah, because I mean, like I see like all these videos like on Instagram or whatever of like people having kids just to have them or whatever, but do they know the responsibilities that they have to take
Absolutely
on a daily not. Because like I'm seeing like
it's a life changer.
Because I mean, like 10 years ago, nobody was putting cheese on their babies just to see reactions. If anything, that's yeah, people laugh at that online or whatever, but that's kind of a slap in the face. I mean, like that's your own flesh and blood. That's your own DNA. That's your own offspring.
And you're putting fucking cheese on it.
And you're putting cheese for amusement
that's
on there.
Been out of processed from a cow onto your kid.
Yeah,
you're basically saying that your kid is equivalent to a cow.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, like with all those vegans out there or whatever that don't like...
I ain't saying nothing for that.
Well, I mean, like, not the vegans, like, all together. I'm just saying, like, because they'd get, like, a piece of cheese that was processed and put it on their own kids, that they're trying to pass this healthy lifestyle onto them,
Just let your kid have a childhood. Don't push your stupid vegan beliefs. Don't push your stupid vegan beliefs and even if you're a health nut like me. Like, let your kids have a little bit of a childhood. If they want some animal crackers, let them have some fucking animal crackers. If they want a cheeseburger from McDonald's, get it for them. I'm not saying have their fucking dinner be Taco Bell, McDonald's every night. Like, not gonna lie, that was me at one point when I was a little chubbier. But times have definitely changed, and obviously that's not healthy or the right way to go about it. But just don't push something on your children that they will remember, because they will remember that. If you're a douche to your kids, or if you're not so nice to your kids, they will remember that in the long run. If you're forcing something on them that they don't want to do, they're gonna remember that, and they're gonna learn to dislike you for that.
Yeah, and a bunch of resentment.
For example, there's a family friend I know who I'm not spilling any names, but this man would force his children to wake up at 5 a.m. and swim laps at the YMCA, and he would not even allow them to watch television. He was just like a drill sergeant, basically. And who knows what kind of stuff he was forcing these poor kids to eat, forcing them to play sports even though they didn't want to. Like, I could see if they actually had an interest, but obviously they didn't. And then, you know, no offense to the LBGT community out there, because, you know, everybody's equal, everybody's amazing. However, you know, these two boys did turn into homosexuals over time, and that is perfectly okay. That is their decision. However, that is the exact opposite that this man wanted to happen, and he has to suffer those consequences now because he treated them the way he did when they were younger, and they have a very strong dislike for him as a result of that.
Yeah, because I mean, like, it's like if because there's some parents that are like strict as hell, and then like there's just some that are like loose as hell. But like, you just gotta be like right in the middle. You gotta find some even ground where you could be a fun parent as well, but then like you could also, you know, let your kids live their lives or whatever. Because I mean, like, you know, some kids or whatever are strict so much that when they get out in the real world, like, they don't even know what's going on. Like, they're lost in the sauce. But then like there's some loose parent skills out there that when that their kids basically have been surviving their entire lives, you know, like on the streets or whatever, because that's all they know.
Exactly.
I mean, stuff's really crazy over time if you
really
let
is.
it be.
Life in general is just a big maze. Any way you look at it, there's so many different problems. There's so many different possibilities, outcomes. It's basically just what you make it, no matter who you are.
All right, you want to talk about your bodybuilding stuff now?
Sure, why not?
Hell yeah.
Always have a goal. Always have a vision. Anytime you find yourself feeling down, anytime that you think you can't do something, you can do it, because it's in here and right here which determines what you can and can't achieve. It all starts from this. If you don't have this, it can't transfer to this. And if you don't have this or this, it's not going to happen. It's just not. That's mind over matter. That's what it basically comes down to. How much torture are you willing to put yourself through to achieve your goals? How much time are you willing to spend on reaching your goals? Okay? For example, me, when I was younger, I was on the chubbier side. I had depression issues. The list goes on and on. I just was overall unhappy. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel because I've done that before on my YouTube channel, 2017 iMan 98. Go check it out.
Link will be in the description right there in the description.
Okay. But and the name of it is Introduction to Channel. It's a couple of years old, but it explains everything. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I transformed my life through playing sports and through adapting a love for the gym and working out. And if that is your goal, push towards that goal. A lot of things come into factor. Sleep, diet, how hard you go in the gym. All that plays a factor in the final outcome, the final product. You got to prep everything good. If you work in a restaurant and you're prepping a meal, if you don't prep that meal good, the meal's going to taste shitty and it's going to be horrible. Same thing with the gym. If you're not putting in your all, everything you have in each rep and each set, the final product is going to be bad. You're going to look like shit, or you're not going to be as strong as you want to be. Okay? If you're not sleeping enough, that's another thing. If you're not getting enough rest, you're not going to recover in enough time. So your muscles aren't going to rebuild themselves and they're not going to grow. You know, that is going to play a huge factor, is rest. Eating, you got to eat. You got to consume calories. Calories in, calories out if you're trying to lose weight. And then if you're trying to put on some muscle, you just want to get them calories in for every pound of body fat and every pound of muscle. You want to get those proper calories in if you want to, build muscle, and you want to do calories in, calories out if you're trying to lose weight. If you're eating McDonald's every day and going to the gym, nothing's going to change. Only thing is you're going to either stay the same or or look a lot worse. So these are all things to take into consideration when starting a fitness journey. It's just how you approach a situation. You got to find motivation. Find your motivation. What is driving you to achieve this goal? What basically makes you want to better yourself? Always keep that in the back of your mind. You're going to have days where you feel not 100%, where you feel like nothing's going right, or you're not looking any different. Well, just think to yourself and reflect, what do I got to change about my training? What do I have to change about my diet to make this happen? Because nothing's perfect. Nobody's a master. Nobody is a master at working out or fitness or bodybuilding or powerlifting. It's what works for you, and it's like trying to find a formula. Basically, you're trying to make the perfect formula for yourself. And if you can't find that formula in that good combination of sleep, calories, a workout regimen, you're never going to get the result you like. It's basically like math. All these components combined make the final product. So that's basically all I have to say for that. Just put in what you want to get out of it. You get out of it what you put into it. And
it's kind of like algebra in a way, like kind of math, as you were saying, because
exactly.
Because it's like what you got to do to one side, you got to do to the other. Like, because on one side of your life, you gotta live your healthy lifestyle, but then on the other side, you also gotta work out or whatever. So then you could find balance.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just like if you were doing biceps, right? So if you got biceps, show me yours. Okay. See, like because what you gotta do to one side, you gotta do to the other. Because like, am I gonna be doing 30 pounds dead weight on this one and then do like 50 on this one? You gotta make sure it's both 30 and you're doing it at the exact same way.
That is correct. However, if you have imbalances, like for example, this arm in general is a little bit bigger than this one, and that's perfectly normal. You're gonna find these imbalances. You're gonna have certain parts of your body that are bigger than others, and what you gotta do is you gotta work on the weaker part of your body. Like for me, my shoulders are not as dominant as my arms. My arms overpower my shoulders as far as a physique look. So I focus a lot more on my shoulders. I'll be hitting these bad boys 2 to 3 times a week. Arms just twice. And basically to get your shoulders bigger, to make them look better, you got to hit this medial and rear deltoid. You got to focus on these more than your front delts. Most people are front delt dominant. So you get a lot of front delt work with your pressing motions when you hit chest. And you could hit a couple of front delt exercises when you hit shoulders. But your shoulder workouts should be primarily structured around side deltoid and rear deltoid work. Front and side of your shoulder, if you're not, too familiar with muscle groups. Okay, so that's what you got to do for that. And let's say, like I was just saying, how this arm is smaller than this arm. You have to pump out a couple more reps on this arm. If you have imbalances, do this. If you don't have imbalances, don't worry about it. Do the same amount of reps for both arms. But if you have imbalances, let's say you're doing 3 sets of 15, we'll maybe do 3 sets of 17 or 18 on this arm. Or maybe even 20. Or add an additional set just for this arm. And like maybe an extra rep. So an extra rep on those 3 sets, and then do a 4th set of 15 to 20 reps on this arm. Okay, at first you're not going to notice a big change, but over time it will grow and it will balance itself out, and they will be even again, and then you can go back to training them both the same way. Okay, and same thing comes with training antagonist muscle groups. So like a chest and a back exercise, you want to do as much for your chest as you do for your back, so they're balanced. You want to train them both the same amount of times a week. So yeah, if you want to hit chest only once a week, we'll only hit your back once a week, so everything can be balanced. But that doesn't mean that you can't train your arms 3 times a week, because those are not antagonist muscle groups. However, if you're training your biceps 4 times a week and only hitting your triceps once a week, you're going to find yourself lacking in the arm department for sure. So you make sure that you hit your arms and your triceps evenly. Your triceps, however, are a bigger muscle group. I'm not whatsoever contradicting what I said earlier in this video. However, triceps, you might have to add in a couple of more exercises just because there's a lot more of the tricep than there is the bicep, so the bicep will get taxed a lot quicker than the tricep will, because you got to hit it from so many different angles. Overhead tricep extensions, underhand tricep extensions, skull crushers, rope pull downs, like all these different exercises hit them from different angles and hit them from on different heads. You want to hit as many different variations as possible so you can have that really symmetrical look and have those nice shreds and definitions that you want. If you're a bodybuilder, if you're a power lifter, just do 4 sets of 5 on some close grip bench and some 3x10 on rope pushdowns and call it a day. Or maybe some dumbbell overhead extensions 4x8. That'll be plenty, because you're just going for that solid look. You don't really care too much about the shreds. But if you're looking for the shreds, you got to hit them from different angles. Otherwise, you're not going to get the final product that you want. So for every bicep exercise, 2 tricep exercises. So say you have an arm day, you should be hitting about 6 to 8 tricep exercises and about 4 to 5 bicep exercises easily. You wanna make sure and structure your training like that. And another thing that a lot of people don't understand is, how do I get abs? How do I lose lower belly fat? I still have trouble with this. Everybody has trouble with this. The answer is you can't. You can't target a certain muscle group and expect it to lose fat. It's impossible.
In one night. It's impossible.
It's impossible. It's all about calories in, calories out, how much cardio you're doing, what you're putting in your body. It's all diet.
Because diet's key.
It's diet. It's what you're eating. You could do crunches to your blue in the face and it's not going to change a damn thing. It's all about body fat percentage. The lower you get that belly fat, body fat, the lower your belly fat's going to get, and maybe you have some fat in the tricep region, or maybe in your neck. Well, it's not going to go away by doing neck twists or by doing tricep exercises
or eating a ton of gum.
Yeah, it's not going to do that. You just got to eat healthy, make sure you're burning off those calories, and just make sure you're lowering that body fat percentage. So, weigh yourself just to know keep yourself on track. Don't become obsessed and go gun-ho and do it every fucking night before bed. Wait every few days. Like, some days you might eat a little bit more than others. Some days your metabolism may slow down a little bit, which may cause you to stay the same or gain a pound. And that'll be a big discouragement if you're weighing 206 and then step on the scale weighing 208 the day after, even though you ate the exact same amount of food and did the exact same type of workout. Because that'll happen. It happens to the best of us. That's why only weigh yourself maybe 2-3 times a week max. If you can handle one psychologically, then do that yourself. Me personally, I run perfect on weighing myself 2 to 3 times a week, just so I can get a nice little indication of where I'm at. That's all I got for this.
That's all you got for that? All right, yeah. Cool. Let's see. Alright, so we're going to move on to another subject. It's called movies that you think suck in the beginning, but then in the sequel, it's actually a success. So what I mean by this, or whatever, is like movies that come out first or whatever, you don't think that's going to be a hit or whatever, like the Karate Kids, like Karate Kid 1 or the Ghostbusters 1 or whatever, and then the second movie or whatever, you having all these cameos, like the second movie of Ghostbusters, this just comes off the top of my head, is that the king of R&B, Bobby Brown, my favorite artist, is in there or whatever, and then you got Cheech from Cheech and Chong in there, and just like a bunch of other like cameos that you wouldn't naturally see over time.
Yeah, I'm just reading some more.
Okay. But yeah, and then it's kind of like crazy how like the trilogies also takes part in that as well. I mean, it's just crazy how you think like some movies are going to be a success and then some movies are just like a complete flop or whatever, but then like in the end they're going to be pretty cool. All right, so we done talking? You got any more to say?
I think that'll do it. Just remember, you get out of life what you put into life.
All right, so this has been episode number 1 of What a Rush podcast, brought to you by Thunder Montoya and
Machine Elcon.
You brought it here first. All right, so guys, this is Thunder Montoya. If you guys like this video and you liked it, you like this podcast, give it a thumbs up. If you hated this video, give it a thumbs down.
What
guys,
is it gonna be?
What is it going to be? If you guys like this video and you want more content like this, subscribe, click the bell notification so you join the notification squad. And guys, it is 2019. You guys got one life, so you live it. Live by your own prerogatives. Peace out. See you next Wednesday.
Take care.